In a quiet town, nestled between rolling hills and endless fields, there lived an old astronomer named Elias. His house sat on the outskirts, a modest stone cottage crowned with a large, creaky observatory dome. By day, Elias blended into the village crowd, a thin, grey-bearded man with kind eyes, often seen at the market buying bread or sitting silently at the park watching the world. But by night, he belonged to the stars. Every evening after the sun's last rays sank below the horizon, Elias would climb up to his observatory. With practiced hands, he'd swing open the heavy wooden shutters and aim his telescope at the dark sky, scanning the constellations, the nebulae, and the wandering planets. His notebook, now yellowed and worn, was filled with scribbles, observations of tiny light points that most people never noticed. He chased comets, mapped lunar craters, and whispered to himself about distant galaxies. The stars were not just objects of study for Elias, they were his companions, his muses, his silent audience. But in all his years of watching, Elias had grown distant. While he knew the name of every bright star, he barely knew his neighbors' names anymore. Children who used to wave at him stopped coming around. The invitations to town gatherings dried up. And Elias, so entranced by the infinite sky, hardly noticed. One cold winter night, as frost crawled along the windows and a thin mist curled through the streets, Elias found himself staring at a particularly radiant star. It pulsed faintly, blinking at intervals he couldn't explain. Curiosity piqued. He adjusted the telescope's focus, noting its strange glow. "It's signaling," he muttered under his breath. Hour after hour passed, as Elias kept his eye glued to the lens, noting every flicker, every nuance. Dawn crept closer, washing the sky in blue, but Elias barely blinked. His obsession deepened. Days turned to weeks, weeks to months. The villagers whispered that Elias had grown stranger. He barely left his house, sometimes forgetting to eat or sleep, consumed by his quest to decode the stars' mysterious language. One evening, after yet another sleepless night, Elias heard a knock on his door. Blinking in confusion, he shuffled down the stairs and opened it to find a young woman named Mara, the librarian's daughter. She held a small packet of food. "Mr. Elias," she said softly, "we haven't seen you in town. Are you well?" Elias stared at her, as though trying to remember how human conversation worked. I'm busy, he said, eyes darting upward and as if the sky itself might call for him. Mara hesitated, looking past him at the dim room, cluttered with books and charts. "We're all worried. Maybe you should rest." Elias smiled, thin and tired. "The stars don't wait, child. They whisper secrets, and if I close my eyes, I might miss them." Mara left the basket and walked away, but her words lingered. That night, Elias returned to his telescope, peering at his beloved star. But this time, something shifted inside him. As he traced its shimmering light, he thought of Mara's concerned face. He thought of the market square, of laughter, of the simple warmth of human presence. And for the first time, the stars seemed quieter. Weeks passed, and slowly Elias began to change. He forced himself to visit the market again, to share a smile, a story. The children, curious once more, wandered up to his observatory, eyes wide with wonder. Elias began inviting them in, showing them the moon's craters, Saturn's rings. Mara visited often, bringing books and questions. Together, they mapped the night sky, not in silence but in shared awe. One night, standing beside Mara, as the stars twinkled above, Elias realized something simple yet profound. The universe was vast and full of wonder, but so was the world right here. The voices, the friendships, the touch of a hand on a cold winter's night. The mysterious star? It faded in time, like many cosmic phenomena do, but Elias no longer minded. He had found something more meaningful: balance. The skies still called to him, but now, when he looked up, it was with gratitude, not obsession. And as the years passed, the old astronomer became not just a guardian of the stars, but a beloved figure in his town, a bridge between the infinite and the intimate, reminding everyone that while it's beautiful to dream of distant worlds, it's just as important to cherish the ones we're part of.